Hello, Yakri here with another Warframe video. This time I just want to talk about Fortuna, which is coming soon. So soon it's this week, which means either today, tomorrow, or the next day. Thursday is usually a good bet, but it'll probably be Friday. So Fortuna's coming soon, and I thought I might take a moment because I actually have 5 minutes about this morning to talk about it. Probably gonna take longer than that. I'll be late for work. But what else? What is there to say about it? What is there really to say about it? Well, there's actually a lot of things. Primarily, I'm very excited for it. It looks like it's going to be Path of Exile, or Path of Exile. God damn it, PoE. Plains of Eidolon again, but better. Right? That seems to be the kind of game plan for Fortuna, and in some ways that's really great, and in some ways it kind of disappoints me because, I don't know, having something that's more different from Plains of Eidolon would be more exciting, I think. It's always nice to have new things, but in some ways that's kind of unreasonable. Like, you're coming out with this new world zone, and why don't you just completely make it a totally different design from the previous world zone you had, and come up with some very innovative, totally new features for it. They've done that a little bit, but it's not like to the degree I'm talking about. There's some pretty cool things, like they got a hoverboard now, which is pretty awesome. Should make getting around the map a lot more entertaining. I think the maybe it's definitely my personal preference, but I think the themes and the overall zone is much more my speed compared to Plains of Eidolon. It's a snow theme that's always really cool, and they've just done a really amazing job with the themes of Fortuna and the Corpus workers there. I guess they aren't strictly speaking Corpus, they're their own faction, but this other, like, I'll put it, themed group of humans, right? Off of you got the Corpus civilian themed humans. Yeah, I guess that's a good way to put them, I suppose. Yeah, it's pretty cool, and I think it looks like I forget if they talked about this in a dev stream or not, but it looks like they've improved mining a little bit. Not super exciting still, but it's nice that at least if we gotta suffer through mini games, that they aren't as irritating as mining is in Plains of Eidolon. Almost a Path of Exile again, almost. I think the boss units look pretty interesting, and I'm pretty excited to see how DE has progressed from the Eidolons, right? Because the Eidolons definitely had a lot of design issues, and I think there's a huge amount of room for improvement there. They've improved them quite a bit in Plains of Eidolon, but in some ways the base concept needs to change for them to be better than they are, and so I think that we might see some pretty fun fights in Fortuna that we can't see in Plains of Eidolon, using the same concept of these big boss creatures that use weak points that you shoot and have phases and stuff, kind of like a dungeon boss fight in other games. Garuda probably deserves her own video rather than a discussion of just what's coming in Fortuna, so I'll just kind of skip over her, other than to say I think she looks pretty cool. Not overpowered, not like garbage like some frames have been on release, hopefully. And this is actually probably my favorite part, the cosmetics. I'm really looking forward to getting this smelter operator armor. I'm sure literally everyone else will be using it as well, so I'm not going to be very original, but god, I love armor sets that have this kind of style, things that are inspired by like welding masks and blacksmiths and that kind of thing. Any game else, love it, absolutely. Super excited about that. So one of the things that's a little bit more relevant to talk about, perhaps, is that they've come out with more set mods, but their design style, the design, the concept behind them seems to have changed a little bit. So these set mods are a little bit closer to only being useful with the set bonus, right? Being highly dependent on the set bonus, or completely dependent on it, such as the tech mod, right? Tech collateral right here. Warframe standing in the zone grants 60% bonus critical damage. So the set bonus is what creates the zone. So if you don't have the set bonus, you don't get any bonus, as I understand it. This is pretty different from these set mods in Plains of Eidolon, and I don't know. I guess I like it. I guess they seem at first glance pretty weak. Some of the armor related ones are a lot stronger than most of the other bonuses I've seen on here, but seem a little weak at first glance. The thing about them is that, well, with this change and how that they work, some people might actually be tempted to use them for the set bonuses, and it means that DE is unlikely to accidentally introduce new, very powerful sort of staple mods to the game as part of these sets, which definitely happened in Plains of Eidolon, of course. Never mind the ones that were just straight more bonuses. We had stuff like Hunter's Munitions, which is kind of game-changing when it came out. And of course, the best feature of all coming in this patch is unrelated to Fortuna itself, which is Kavats and Kubros are now usable. You're allowed to use them instead of your Sentinel now, so that's pretty exciting. I know I will be switching over to a Kubro pretty much permanently, or maybe my Kavat for bonus damage sometimes. So yeah, I think, oh, I hit my microphone, great. And I'm not editing this video because I don't have time. Anyway, I think that I'm pretty excited for Fortuna overall. It's looked fantastic. My gripe is just that it's a lot like Plains of Eidolon, the second Plains of Eidolon zone. And if I had another gripe about Plains of Eidolon, and I assume, but I don't know, will be true about Fortuna as well, is that they aren't really an alternative to normal Warframe missions, right? And I guess there's definitely some argument to be had about whether or not they should be. And clearly the developers don't think that they should be, based on how the bounties and whatnot work. But in some ways, I think it would be kind of great if they were, because they're these awesome open world zones that play pretty differently from regular missions, but you can't really substitute them for regular missions. So if you really love this zone in the game and you want to play it all the time, but you do want access to all or nearly all of the content in the game, you can't get that access by just playing in the zone. You have to leave and go to other areas and grind other resources and special drops and whatnot to do it. And that's kind of a general design philosophy in Warframe. They try and make you go everywhere. And I don't know, before Plains of Eidolon, before Fortuna, I think that was less of a thing to gripe about because a lot of the levels were very similar. However, these zones are super different. They're a big departure from the rest of the game. And in some ways, they're quite a lot better. And I could see why you might want to only do them or never do them, depending on your personal preferences. And I wish that was a little bit more viable. And I also especially wish that the minigames, avoiding the minigames, was a little more viable. You could eventually buy resources from players instead, or you could in Plains of Eidolon, and hopefully that will be continuing. But I don't know, as much as I enjoy fishing, and of course I don't think anyone really enjoys mining that much, but I didn't find it too horrible. I don't like it when features are implemented that are very, very different from core gameplay that you are forced to do to progress in core gameplay. All right, that's a good way to put it. And I kind of have the same gripe with the Fortuna levels. If you really hate these open world zones, it kind of sucks for you that they're being implemented. Not just because other stuff isn't being worked on, but because if you want these cool new cosmetics, if you want I assume the new Warframe, if you want some other new stuff, or, you know, like now you can only get arcanes from Eidolons. If you want to get those drops and stuff in the game, you kind of have to do this content. And most of Warframe is designed like that. And I wish it was just a little bit more compartmentalized so you could do your own thing that you like. That said, I'm only really complaining from like an abstract design preference because I kind of enjoy all of it, except the exception of certain endless mission types and some non-endless mission types that you don't normally actually have to do, except for that recent star map clear. So anyway, that was a bit of a ramble, but I'll be trying to get some, I don't know, a stream or early review of this when it comes out, and we can talk about all the new stuff in Fortuna after I get some hands-on experience. Probably won't be able to do anything until this weekend. Thank you all for watching. Yakri out.